Hello everyone, welcome to my Getting to Know You challenge. So here's how it's gonna work. I was looking through the questions and I realized there was like 100 or like 78 questions. So the best way for you to get to know me and for me to give you the information, I figured we could split that by a quarter. So we're gonna do 20 questions. I'm gonna supply 10 questions, and actually I have 10 questions from the comments that you left at the bottom of my Instagram post. Question number one. Who am I? Well, my full name is Jazane Tyrone Clark. A lot of people are surprised with the middle name, but yes, it is indeed Tyrone. Question number two is, where do I live? I probably live in Brampton right now. I was born and raised for the first 10 years of my life in Toronto. Bonus, I'm 27 turning 28 this year. Old. But not that old. I'm still young at heart, okay? Question number three is, where would I choose to live in the future? I've always wanted to have a suburban home in Brampton or a more modern home in Toronto. I don't know why. I've always been interested in being in the city in the weekends and the weekdays, and then during the weekends pulling away and having some quiet time or some me time with my family or by myself. And question number four is my dream vacation. I would love to go to Switzerland, and I would love to go to Germany. I've always wanted to go to Europe, but my preferred stop would be Germany, and I definitely want to go to Switzerland.
Anything else for you?
That's it.
Hope you drive up, please.
Thank you. Question number five. My favorite sports teams. In basketball, my favorite team is the Pistons. Yes, I grew up in Toronto and I live in Brampton, and I should root for the Raptors, but I had to follow after my uncle doing KC. I love the Blue Jays. They sucked last year, but I went to a lot of games. It was quite enjoyable. For football, I watched two leagues. So there's the NFL, and then there's the CFL, which is the Canadian Football League. In the NFL, I watched the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've been crap for so long, but the reason why I've always had a fondness for them was when I was watching them years ago, maybe a decade ago. I saw Maurice Jones-Drew. He was just a ball of energy just running down the field, and I'm like, I like this team a lot. And then finally for the CFL and the Canadian Football League, last 2 years I've been rooting for the Ottawa Red Blacks, but at the end of last year I started leaning more towards the Toronto Argonauts. I was an Argonauts fan in the beginning, but then Ottawa came back, and I was really into the rebuilding team. They got the championship 2 years ago, so it was really cool. But now I feel like, you know what, I need to go back to my original allegiance of cheering for the Toronto Argonauts. Number six. Just looking at my list. I actually have a list of questions. Question number six is a surprising fact. Some of you may know this and some of you may not. I have never been stung by a bee in my life. In my entire 27 years of living, I've never been stung. Now here's why. Because I will run like a crazy person away from the situation in which there are bees. If you've been to a picnic or been to a park with me during the summer, if there's a bee, you know that I would usually run. I have never been stung, and I will never be stung. Tim Hortons hash browns, underrated. Question number seven is my favorite artist or band. I have two. One would be Coldplay, and two would be King's Kaleidoscope. If you don't know who they are, check them up on YouTube. You're missing out. Obviously, you must know Coldplay. Coldplay is everywhere, but King's Kaleidoscope, they're not as known, but musically they're so I can't even describe it. You just need to go listen. Number 8 is, what do I fear? I fear not being enough. I have this issue. I'm a people pleaser. I like to please people. And sometimes I feel like I give a lot of myself because I'm trying to be enough for that person. But I need to realize that I can give 100% of myself and still not be enough for that person. And I need to be content with the fact that I will never be fully enough for one other person. Here, it makes sense, but in my heart, it doesn't. That would be my biggest fear, of not being enough for somebody. Questions number 9 and 10. What is my greatest achievement and my greatest failure? So I just have to head into work right now, but I will finish off. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna finish off the rest of this when I get inside. So as you can see, I'm in the back room of my workplace. I work at Moore's Clothing for Men. Just a free shout out if you need any suits, shirts, pants. Let your boy know. But right now I'm just chilling back here so I can get the rest of this video done. I would say my greatest achievement would be when I was in like elementary school. I used to enter these like writing competition. I used to win a lot of awards back then. It sounds weird, but I think that was my greatest achievement, other than like knowing who I am now and what I want to do. I feel like that would be my greatest like achievement, as in like I got an award for. My biggest failure, I haven't told this story much, but I went to the University of Waterloo for recreation and leisure studies. I didn't actually finish school. I did my first year, and like most first years, I slacked off, partied too hard, went to the class but also didn't go to class. I had a good support of people around me, so I was able to like buck up and get good grades to get to the second year. But the second year was even harder than the first year. I didn't like, obviously I expected it to be harder, but it got even more difficult than I assumed it would be. I was living off campus with some friends. That was probably the best part of that year, was that I was living with them. School was a back page. I didn't really focus as much. One time I slept through one of my exams. It's kind of embarrassing looking back on it now. And if you know, I volunteer with youth, so at any time that like I see like the certain patterns that I found myself in, I'll tend to like make sure I'm encouraging, make sure that they're pushing forth and giving all their best effort, because I didn't, and I'm paying for it now. The good thing about when you get to rock bottom, you get to work your way back up to the top. So yeah, that was definitely my biggest failure, and now you know. I'll be turning towards the viewer questions. You can't see them here, but you can see them there. The first question that we have here is, do you have a girlfriend? Yes, I do. A lot of you may have met me or may have known me when I didn't, but I do. And her name is Janelle. She also has her own YouTube page, and she's a makeup artist and whatnot. She's a wonderful addition to my life. And I might put a little picture right there. This is question number 12, and it goes, who inspired you the most growing up? I didn't have to think about this one. This is my mom. My mom has inspired me the most. She's the most determined, the most loving, the most forgiving person I know. A lot of the times when I was a kid, I wasn't the worst kid, but I made some bad decisions, and she was very strict, but she was very loving at the same time. There's that saying where you gotta love but discipline your kid. That was very much my childhood. She was a very loving person, but obviously when I needed to be disciplined, she would discipline me, and it was needed. It made me into the man that I am today, and I am so thankful that she was there for me. My favorite movie of all time, that's a really hard one. I personally can rewatch, definitely maybe, over and over and over again. But I would say my favorite movie, I'm gonna get so much flack. So much flack. I'm gonna say High School Musical 3. I love the High School Musical trilogy, but number 3 for me is the best movie. The gravitas, love the dance sequences, I love the songs. My favorite song of that movie, if you don't know, is Scream. I often will sing it. But yeah, I definitely think it'd be between those two. Definitely maybe with Ryan Reynolds and High School Musical 3. Question 14 is my favorite childhood memory. Were always the snow days. For it to really have a snow day, there had to be a lot of snow. I remember once that I left my house, there was at least up to my knees in snow, and they still didn't call it snow day. But I remember there was this one particular day where the snow was really high, and they called a snow day, and I got to play outside with my friends, and it was the most enjoyable day. I think I came in, I was soaking wet, but like I could still vividly remember being outside. I remember the screams, the laughter. Snow days as a child are amazing. Can I swim? And the answer is no. It's not because of the black cliche. My mom actually took me to swimming lessons. I just always had the thought where I was kind of like tall enough. I'm 5'11" and 3/4, so I would just stand in the water and be just above it. I'd go like right in between the shallow and the deep end, and the water would like be right here, and I would just be tall enough to like just chill in the water. And if I like absolutely needed to, I can like paddle, but I can't swim. Like if you threw me in the deep end, someone would have to come and save me. Which leads into the next question, question 16. The most embarrassing. The most embarrassing thing is that I remember going swimming once as a child, or trying to swim as a child, and my shorts came off because I didn't tie them tight enough. Yeah, it's probably there are a lot of embarrassing stories. If you know me, there are a lot of embarrassing things, but I think that's probably the most embarrassing. My favorite hobby or pastime, I love to Netflix and chill because my life is constantly go 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 go. Even like right now, with work, with responsibilities that I have at my church, and just life, everything is go go go. So I love to just like Netflix and just like zone out, as well as like just eating and chilling with my friends. If you know me, after church on Sundays, there's one thing that I do well, and that's eat and nap. So we find a good place to eat, and I go home and take a nice nap. Question number 18 is talking about the aspirations for my future. I know exactly what I want to do, and before, when I was younger, I always thought that I had to get there directly, but learning from some of my closest friends and mentors, it's a process. Where I want to be, I would love to be a music director at a church. I love music. Constantly be a better person, be a better musician, and to challenge myself musically and spiritually and professionally in everything that I do. That's my aspirations for whether it's the short-term future, long-term future, or for just my future in general. And this one was a doozy for sure, so I'm gonna have to read this off. So question 19 is, how do you want your life to look in 10, 15, or 20 years from now? And what do you want to be doing personally and professionally? So how I want my life to look in 10 to 15 or possibly 20 years from now. Don't want to be dating by that point. I want to be married. Married with some children, living happily together. I'm not about having an extraordinary house. I just want to make sure that everyone is okay. Myself, my wife, my children, my immediate family, my friends. And I feel personally and professionally in the future, I would love to be at a stage where not only am I supporting myself, but I'm supporting other people. Like, I can only see right now where my paycheck or my efforts are supporting myself, but in the future that's going to change. like alongside with my wife, I'm gonna have to be supporting ourselves. We'll be supporting ourselves, but we'll be supporting other people, and that's foreign to me right now. And it's it's it causes some anxiety in me, but it also causes me to be excited because I know at some point I will reach that destination. Like, it's right there, but it's so far away, and I feel that that's where I need to be, but I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not there yet, but I'm working towards it. So that's the Getting to Know You challenge featuring me. I would like to tag you in a challenge down below in the comments. I want you to comment one fact about yourself that allows me to get to know you. This is an interactive community. Still haven't figured out a name for our community, but you know what? It's okay, that comes over time. So in the comments below, let me know one fact about yourself, and then I'll get to know you as you've gotten to know me. I'll see you next week. Talk to you later.